Tragically, nearly 35% of Texans experience domestic violence from an intimate partner. Now more than ever, they need our support. Safe Haven provides freedom from domestic violence in the Fort Worth area. Thomas J. Henry is proud to team with Safe Haven to help end domestic violence through safety, support, prevention, and social change. Please join us to create a legacy of resilience and hope.
Pickle, let's go to the hotline. And let's welcome in the Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and you can see him on Valley Sports Southwest every Friday night on High School Scoreboard Live alongside Aaron Harding and myself. We're joined by the great Craig Way. Craig, how are you, my friend?
I'm great. Aren't you guys glad it's all feeling like autumn now? We had to dodge a tornado in the northern reaches of the greater Austin area last night, but hey, it's still autumn, you know?
It is autumn. I just have a question. Like, I know you're not working today. So what are you doing? Aren't you just, I presumed you'd be sitting around in a lounger, being fed grapes and being like fanned by large palm leaves. Are you not doing that?
You know my wife better than that.
I do.
She would not be feeding me grapes, you know? That would not be happening. Now, what I am doing, I'm not on the air on my regular show today, tomorrow, Thursday, taking care of some things, some of which, by the way, are honeydews. But I'm also, as we speak, on my way to visit with LBJ Jaguars head coach Jamal Finner. I am doing the broadcast Thursday night of LBJ against Eastside Early College, a game that has, in Jerry Forrest Pigskin Prep computer rankings, out of 119 schools, LBJ is number 6, and Eastside, out of 119 schools, is 119. So, don't know if how the game will turn out, but you can draw your own conclusions.
Well, you are nothing if not a sicko. That is for sure. So that's one game, game that we'll see how it all plays out. But we are coming out of a Week 9 slate of games that we were all very excited about. We were all extremely fired up about what was happening across the state of Texas and the potential for fireworks at pretty much every classification. I'll just put it to you like this. Did Week 9 live up to your admittedly pretty lofty expectations as far as quality is concerned?
Yeah, and I tried to not over lofty, I tried to just say, okay, there's all these good matchups. We said that even all the way back at the start of the year. Let's not over expect. And yet it did. It lived up to the billing I think all of us had thought. And that's what really makes it cool. Not only some of the games that turned out, like Stephenville, China Spring. Remember when you asked me which game out of the 3 I'd go to, I picked that one. I would have been happy had I been at that one, clearly. And it was, that game and several other, heck, Franklin Lorena was a game for quite some time. So there were a lot of games that lived every bit up to the billing. And I was excited about that and even more excited when we talked about how things are starting to get kind of crazy, not just in the greater Austin area, but in some other districts as well, in terms of these coming final 2 weeks of the regular season and the playoff implications and seeding and division status and 6A, all of those kinds of things. So yeah, it lived all completely up to it for me.
Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer, join us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. There's one game in particular that I want to ask you about from last week, and I posed this question to Matt Stepp on our podcast yesterday. And it was Denton Guyer's win over Allen. Denton Guyer beats Allen 49-7. The 42-point margin is the largest margin of victory over Allen in 25 years. Does that say to you, is that more about Guyer or is that more about Allen?
Yes. You've heard me make this comparison before. When the answer to both questions is both, the comparison I always make is in Winnie the Pooh. When Winnie the Pooh is asked if he wants honey or condensed milk with his bread, and he says both, but don't bother about the bread. it's, let me start with Geyer. Geyer is legitimate, as we know, Division II state championship contender. And I think even more so this year, given the power structure of what very well may happen with the heavy power balance being in Division I. Even if Katy goes D2, and even if Vandegrift winds up D2, and there's a growing chance Vandegrift may wind up in Division II after all, after look for all the world like they were going to be in Division I. But even if that is still an absolute, lead pipe contender to be playing for a state title. When you have a quarterback and a defense the way that they have, then yes, I think that they're a legitimate. Having said all that, I don't know what to make of that one. Other than this, Lee Wigginton is a very good coach, but it is his first year there and kind of late arriving on the scene because of the way things transpired there. So I think it's kind of important to keep those things in mind as he tries the old Royal thing about getting all the BBs back in the box. And I think he'll have Allen in contending status again. Just don't know if it'll be this year, especially given the weight of Division I. But I think the answer to your question is both.
Talking with Craig Way, Texas Football Hall of Famer here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Craig, Coach, jeez. We are 2 weeks away from from unwrapping the present, as you're fond of saying, getting to the brackets and finding out exactly where everything is going to align. I'll put it to you like this, and I love asking you questions that I know the answer to. The district race that has you most tantalized in these final 2 weeks is in which district?
Well, the natural reaction would be 25-6A only because of the way things have gone to this point. Now, I will say this, it might end up taking care of itself. The only thing, the most fascinating thing about 25-6A is that district is poised to do something I've never seen before, and that is to have to go to a second tier of multi-layer tiebreaker with point differential. When we always talk every year about how fun and how kind of murky and messy things can be. Oh, they're going to have to go to a three-way tiebreaker and have the point differentials decided. Okay, that's all well and good. But what if the point differentials are flat dead even? And they are between Cedar Ridge and Manor and Vista Ridge. They're dead level even, and they're going to be dead level even because they finished up against one another. And the reasoning for that, I lay it at the feet of the District 25-6A Executive Committee because they decided on a tie-breaking differential of plus 13. That's low. And I think it sets up for a multi-layered tiebreaker when you have only a plus 13. If you have like a plus 18 or 17, 21 in some districts, you get more separation there. And by the way, that would help Vista Ridge a lot, which holds a 20-point win, although it would have helped Cedar Ridge as well. The one that would have been in trouble with that would have been Manor. Now, because they're all plus 13 and a minus 13 in round robin wins and losses to one another, they're all at flat level 0. So now you go to the second tie break, which I've never seen done in a multiple tie breaking situation before, where you have all three of them at 0, and then it goes to the tie break for all district games. And here's where the disadvantage will happen for Vista Ridge, because they have to close with Vandegrift and Round Rock. Now, Cedar Ridge has to play Round Rock this week, but if that all goes, if they all get pounded the way that Manor was, then basically you're coming down, how did you do in those other games against Stony Point and Westwood? How did you do in all those other games? And then that ultimately would be what decides it. So that's the most fascinating part of it. But there's some other ones too. There's a couple I noticed in 4A that could get to a 3 or 4-way tie for 2 or 3 playoff spots. So there's still a lot to be decided.
I'll just throw this out there. 16-6A. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but Cy Ranch is at 4-1 in district, and then there's 5 teams at 3-2. So it's going to be it's going to be a mess.
Messy. And by the way, I used your favorite word. What are your favorite words on the Texas-Oklahoma State broadcast at halftime when it was 31-24, and I said, this has been a very pointsy first half.
We did it.
Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, I've made it.
And Linda texted me and said, you just said pointsy.
Yay! I did it.
Yeah.
I'm an influencer
Yeah.
now. All right. It's time for the meanest thing I do to Craig Way each week, and that is to make him pick one game. And it's another I would say not as deep of just slam bang affairs, to borrow a phrase, as last week rather, but still a handful of really good ones. Craig Way, you can teleport to Thursday night in Humble for Galena Park North Shore and Humble Tascasita. You can teleport to Duncanville on Friday night for DeSoto and Duncanville, or you can teleport to Jonesboro for May versus Jonesboro in a top 5 6-man matchup. Which one are you teleporting to?
Ooh, that one's.
I told you, I threw a curveball at the end.
Yeah, you did, boy. And I just, as the old saying goes, I took that called third strike. I stood there looking at it like a house beside the road. I would probably say North Shore Tascasita, if only to see what's going to happen with North Shore with the quarterbacking situation with Bailey being banged up. So I'd be curious about that. That would be a part of it. Having said that 6-man game is extremely entertaining and exciting. And you know me, by the way, when you get to this time of year, especially next week, not as much this week, but especially next week, I really like the one game, winner you're in, losing you go home, winner take all situation. We got one of those in the greater Austin area this week, Gerald and Manor New Tech.
Oh, wow. Whoever
wins is getting in. So that'll be a lot of fun to watch too.
Playoffs have come early for Gerald and Manor New Tech. He's Craig Way. He's Texas High School Hall of Famer. Hear him on the horn every weekday from 10 to noon, but not this week. Maybe on Friday. And then see him on Bally Sports Southwest on High School Scoreboard Live on Friday night alongside Aaron Hardigan and myself. Craig, appreciate your time, my friend, and go get those honeydews done.
On my list. Thank you.
There he goes. Craig Way, the Texas High School Hall of Famer. Joins us every Tuesday at Texas Football Today. Yeah, he told me he was taking off, I think Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from the radio show because it's a Texas Open date.
Yep.
They don't play this week, and so he doesn't have like the coaches show, and he doesn't have like because some of the normal things that he does on a Texas game week, and so this is an opportunity to get some stuff done. And Linda's finally getting some work out of him. It's about time, I say.
Love it.
Anyway, we appreciate Craig Way hopping on with us.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.